Okay, this is a quick installation guide on the V2 orange guide rings. So I've taken the liberty of just removing the assembly from the stock. So firstly, just remove your magwell. And then remove the outer barrel. Put that to one side. Then the trigger box. And the spring guide stopper. Now you can remove the cylinder. Now I already have fitted the V2 guides into my SSG, but this is for installation purposes only. I'm just doing a quick video. So remove the receiver back, and you should be left with the body with the guides in, or the original guides in. So remove the original guides, you're left with an empty body. So to install the new ones, rear guide first. Rear guide's got a cutout on it that obviously has to line up with the cutout on the back of the receiver. You can install the receiver back and just loosely tighten that up. Don't tighten it right down, just leave that so it's got a little bit of play. Then insert the front guide. Both guides go with the enlarged bit into the receiver. They just fit in snug like so. So you should have the larger end facing into the receiver. And I don't know. Again, there you can just see the large end facing into the receiver. And then just refit the cylinder. And then reinsert the spring guide stopper. Trigger box. Sorry if I'm getting in the way, try not to, but I'm sure you all know how to put a trigger box back on by now. Nip those two up, and now you can nip this top one up. So you should have a finished trigger box and receiver assembly with the guides in by now. Now, shimming up the front guide, fairly simple. Two ways of doing it. This is the way I prefer to do it. is screw your outer barrel on to your receiver assembly. And as you'll see, I'll zoom out, it's actually gone past where, oh, you can see I'll move it back to where the hole is. So it's actually gone past now with that guide in. So it's a little bit of trial and error, but I always go for like a middle-sized shim first, just to give you an idea of whether to go smaller or larger. So unscrew the outer barrel again. Now this shim that I've got in mine is, where are we, is a 2.5. They're only approximate because obviously the printer, it depends on the printer, but they're roughly about a 0.25 of a mil. So insert that over the cylinder. And just try it on. That's the middle size one, the 2.5. So obviously screw the outer barrel back on. Now, as you can see, it's just starting to nip on it now, or tighten, so give it a little bit of a twist until your holes line up. I think you can see that now. And you'll find that that is perfect. Good way to test. Just get your mag well, sit it on. If it just plumps on straight away, you don't have to force it to fit, then you're fine and you're good to go. And then obviously just refit everything. So put the mag well back on, screw that down. Now I have swapped all my screws out for Allen screws, which I do find helps me because I do a lot of testing with the gun, and the screws tend to get worn out pretty quick, whereas the Allen screws really quite good. So I'll get this right. Just nip those up, and that's the guides fitted. And then just pop that there. Just get the stock. Now, rear guide obviously goes there. Sorry, the rear riser fits there. And I don't know if you can see this. I've just got some foam in here for what's it. But inside, I'll take the foam out actually. Inside, where the front bipod stud comes through, is where your front bipod riser fits. Now that should be a straight fit. It is tight going in. Give it a little knock in. You can knock it in. I normally use a drill and just tap it in. The rear one, it's a bit of a hit and miss whether the rear one is fitted or not, or sanded. I actually ended up sanding mine down by about half to fit, but then again, once you've done that, it's really a matter of putting it in the gun, the assembly back together, tighten the first bipod screw down, test cock the gun. If everything's fine, go to the center receiver screw, tighten that down, cock, test fire again, make sure everything's okay, and then check the rear whether you need it or not. I advise people testing without first, because when it is too thick it does pull it a lot out of square. But the way to see whether you do need the rear one is put the rear screw in and then tighten down, and see when you tighten it down if it pulls out of square, out of center, the nozzle to the hop. I hope it really makes sense. I'm not really good at making videos. And then any issues, obviously get in touch with me, and I'm quite happy to talk through any issues. Thank you.